Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Today, I'll be talking about basically the cold WX pattern that we'll be developing within the next few days in the Northeast region, of course. According to NOAA and TWC and Weather Underground, of course, we have a huge major pattern change coming again. If you live in the western parts of the country, you remember when we first were dealing with that ridge that was so persistent. Well, it could be coming back, and then the reason could be because El Nino is not weakening. The Nino 1 and 2 regions currently have been measured to be at 1.0 degrees Celsius. So basically, by the time we reach next Monday, there's a strong possibility that the El Nino regions will no longer persist in that region, the 1 and 2 Nino regions. The Nino region 3 and 4 basically still sits at 2.5 degrees Celsius, which is still the same as it sat as last week, January 25th or the 31st, when it was last taken. So basically, what does this mean? This means we're gonna have a ridging basically occurring in the west as this El Nino moves further away from the United States and begins to weaken drastically. And of course, the WX pattern is calling for this ridge to be very strong. It's calling for a very strong amplified pattern with the district going way up and over Alaska, of course, and low pressure systems forming right off of the southern edge of Alaska, and actually riding that polar jet stream going all the way through the Midwest and combining itself with an energy right off the East Coast, going into the next week, and it could become a possible coastal storm, possible snowstorm, possibly going up the East Coast, right along the East Coast. We got to watch the system, of course, because the models right now are fighting and going back and forth about how strong would this cold air be. I'm going to go with the idea to be probably the same strength, if not just possibly bigger in intensity compared to the last cold front we had with Winter Storm Jonas. I think it'll be a little bit stronger than that. The cold itself, I think it'll be a little bit stronger than that. Now, as for the system itself, that depends how fast it's rapidly intensifying. Is there going to be bombogenesis? Will it go up the coast? Is there something that kick it out the coast? So, there's a lot of things that could play a hand in this. And not only that, the MJO is going to become completely volatile. It's going to become very strong at the same time as this is happening. And it is expected, according to the European model, to actually sit in the Central Pacific, right where the El Nino is. So basically, it's going to feed off of the heat of the El Nino. It's going to use that to actually toss that heat into the western United States and not only enhance that range, thus making it a highly volatile pattern for the East Coast. So just in case, for those of you who live in the East Coast, just make sure you have your just heads up, because you never know. We possibly, at any moment, we could have snowstorms just barreling up the East Coast at any moment, But it seems like this pattern could possibly occur because we're talking about the European model's been having a good handle on it. And the European model's been calling for a lot of cold days actually sink into the eastern parts of the country in a very active pattern, a wintry active pattern for the Northeast. So with all that said being done, have a nice day, and you will be seeing me again posting information up here on this channel. Of course, I have your full update of El Nino, of course. I want to give you a little taste of what has happened to El Nino, of course. And usually it's called atmospheric blocking, but with this atmospheric warming as well event going on, it is very hard to get a grip on it. But I'm pretty confident that the Greenland block will set up, because forecasters have been calling for this Greenland block to set up ever since the beginning, before winter began, and we saw it set up and then go and set up again and then go. This time around, I'm expecting this one to stay with us even going into the month of March, and I'm expecting the same thing for this one to stay with us, because talking about a very strong high pressure system. If the only place you're going to get a low pressure system to come through is probably Southern California, and it's probably going to merge the northern jet stream at the end, all the way off the East Coast. So basically, this is something to watch, something to keep in mind, because this El Nino list is becoming more Mondoki El Nino as it moves further off into the Central Pacific and begins to die, of course. So thank you very much for watching this video. I'll have more weather info, WX pattern coming up next week, so stay tuned and stay safe.